Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Extreme Rules 2015 preview and predictions.
What's going on, guys? VocalAggression here for Extreme Rules 2015 preview and predictions alongside my cohort and commentary. Man, I am so stoked to talk about this show. I personally enjoyed the build-up, particularly the Raw Go-Home show. That especially got me jazzed up. And I just feel like we're ready to have some great discussions relating to each match on this card. So let's get into it.
Yeah, there are a few matches on this card that look really good. There are a few that look really cringeworthy, but at the end of the day, the card as a whole looks pretty solid. So let's get into the match that I think we're all looking the least forward to. Roman Reigns versus Big Show. And yes, we're even doing this before the pre-show because nobody gives a crap about it. Roman Reigns wins, last man standing match, and then nobody cares.
Pretty much. I mean, this is a very straightforward matchup. Big Show, I think, is only here because, he's just another obstacle for Roman Reigns to overcome, just another object of heat to try and make Roman Reigns seem sympathetic. A lot of people have taken issue that this match is taking place in Chicago, and they don't know how Roman Reigns is going to be received. I've talked about Roman at length. I do believe him as a babyface can work. He just needs to be succinct. He needs to be more of an ass kicker. Verbose promos are not his style. He shouldn't try and be comical or charming. He needs to just be Roman Reigns. This matchup, I really don't have any expectations for it. I think you said it's a matchup nobody cares about. Really, what I care about, what does Roman Reigns do after this? I'm thinking he gets back in the WWE World Heavyweight Championship picture because I read he pinned Seth Rollins on SmackDown.
He sure did.
Thursday. So, to me, yeah, that's where Roman Reigns goes next. Where Big Show goes, I really don't care. So, yeah, Roman Reigns for the win.
Where Big Show goes, retirement.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, well, yeah, I mean, we both agree Reigns is winning. It doesn't really matter. So, do you want to just move on? Pre-show?
Yeah.
All right, pre-show match. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, your tag team champions, taking on the New Day, which will most likely be Big E and Kofi Kingston, for the tag team championships. I am guessing this isn't going to get any kind of stipulation added, even though it's Extreme Rules. So let's talk about this, John. What do you think's going to happen here? I think that you have an interesting take on this.
See, this is where the discussions that I was alluding to in our opener really start to happen, because the New Day, I think, have been on an incredible roll since having their heel turn, both in terms of just crowd reaction. I think they're getting great heat and just effectiveness. They did beat the Lucha Dragons to become the number one contenders. That's how we got here. I wish that tag teams like the New Day and like Team Uppercats have affectionately come to call Cesaro and Kidd, the name you came up with. I wish they got more of a chance in the ring to show their personality and everything, because I find New Day's backstage segments to be hilarious, and I love the bromance between Cesaro and Kidd. So I'm very excited for this matchup. I think this is going to be one of the better tag title matchups that we've gotten in the division. That said, I feel like the New Day is kind of on an upward trajectory at the moment, and I'm personally picking them to win the titles. I think their heel turn is being received very well, as it should, be received. I feel like they've really come into their own now that they've had this turn. And as much as I love Cesaro and Kidd, that they've definitely had a better run than I anticipated them having. I think that's largely in part, if we're being honest, to one of the Usos being injured. I just feel like it's the New Day's time, so I am picking the New Day to become your new WWE Tag Team Champions. But I'm more curious about what you thought, because I think you knew my thoughts going into this. I want to know more what you're thinking about this matchup.
I don't know. I honestly don't even know what to think. I'm loving heel New Day. I think these guys are freaking great. But at the same time, I do feel like Kidd and Cesaro have a certain, I don't know what you want to call it, but there's something about their run right now that kind of has like that magic feel to it.
Yeah.
And it's weird because the New Day is going to be the heel in this match. Kidd and Cesaro are going to be the face. So my biggest question about this match is, are they going to treat it as a one-time thing because they know it's a Chicago crowd, or are they going to use this as a platform to permanently, or I guess for the foreseeable future, turn Kidd and Cesaro face for good?
And see, Ashton, that's a very good question. I think other commentators have kind of brought up this similar issue. I've been reading other people inquiring into this matter. I personally think it's purely environmental. I think because it's Chicago, they know that Kid and Cesaro are going to be received very well, so they want to work that to their advantage in the context of the story, so they put them against a heel tag team. And they know conversely, hopefully, that the New Day will be showered with boos and the whole New Day sucks and that whole thing. So
Yeah.
I think it's purely environmental, because if, and I will say this, even though I am picking the New Day to win the tag team titles, but if Kid and Cesaro were to retain here, I would suspect them to go back to their heel ways and maybe get into that feud with the Lucha Dragons that I was anticipating we'd be getting right here, right now, but it seems to be prolonged, delayed for the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to figure out. I feel like if they do turn Kid and Cesaro face with this match, rather than just kind of letting them get the babyface reaction and then keeping them heel afterwards, it's almost a guarantee that the New Day would win, because that would be a great way to turn Kid and Cesaro face.
Right.
But you know what? Any other alternative, I still feel like the best thing to do here is to give the New Day the title. So I'm going to pick them. All
right, I'm actually kind of surprised we agree. But that's awesome, man. All right, so New Day to win the tag team championships. Do you have anything else you want to say about this match?
No, I don't have anything else to say about this match. So let's move on. Up next, we have, let's see, what is the least important non-title match on this card? Honestly, probably Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do this, John. I'll let you pick between what match we're going to pick next. Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper, or Ziggler and Sheamus?
I'd say Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper, to be honest.
Yeah. It's a Chicago street fight, and just because I always follow the code of Ambrose, I'm picking Luke Harper to win this match.
First and foremost, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that this is a damn shame that we're here. Because Dean Ambrose, I think, is a phenomenal talent, and he should be doing more than this right now. That's not to take anything away from Luke Harper. I think you know, Ashton, more than anybody regarding my opinions that I'm a huge Luke Harper fan. I think the guy is a freak athlete for his size, and I love his look. I think in any given moment, if you really wanted to do something serious with him in the mid-card, he would kill it. I know some people believe that he should just go back with Rowan because both of these guys have kind of fizzled, since separating. I wouldn't mind that either, but I do feel like Luke Harper could be a viable singles player. You've just got to put the time and investment in him. And unfortunately, you can say the same for Dean Ambrose right now. Are these guys going to have a good match? Absolutely. I even like how we got here, with Luke Harper first taking Dean Ambrose out at WrestleMania, and then in the subsequent weeks on TV, putting him through the announce table and all that other stuff. And Dean Ambrose just proves to be a guy you cannot put down. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because obviously John has to make a prediction. That's why we're here. The code of Ambrose never fails, and it has never failed since you and I have come together and started talking about Dean Ambrose's matches, especially on pay-per-view. His record is abysmal. Yep. However,
you're picking Dean Ambrose because you feel like it's the dumbest thing in the world for them to do anything else.
And I do, because here's the thing. I'm gonna do that classic John thing because I never freaking learn. I'm like that lab rat that like.
John, when you're admitting that you never freaking learn, that's an opportunity for you to learn.
But at the same time, I just can't help but believe, and here's my thing, Luke Harper, I feel like, is going to do nothing after this, whereas Dean Ambrose, they always seem to, at least, even if it's bad.
Funny you say that, because I think Luke Harper is next in line for the U.S. title.
And see, I can't find myself to agree with that right now. But what I was going to say was, even if it's bad, the WWE usually tries to find something for Dean Ambrose to do. Hell, some people have so much confidence that Dean Ambrose is going to come back.
I'm sorry, John. Just to be clear, I don't mean I think he's winning it from Cena. I think he's Cena's next feud, though.
Right. Yeah, I understand what you. Oh, yeah. I don't think Cena's losing that thing for a long time, for the record, but we'll get more into that when we get to his matchup. So no,
I mean, at this rate, he might even end up turning heel with it.
yeah, really, right? But with Dean Ambrose, WWE always seems to want to find something for him to do, whether it's good, bad, or different. And I was going to say, some people feel like he's going to bounce back so strongly from this lull that he's in. Some people are picking him to win Money in the Bank this year, and I'm not even touching that until June. I'm not even touching that until we get there.
I think everybody knows my official Money in the Bank prediction this year.
Didn't you? No, you know what? I'm not even going to get it. No, I said I wasn't going to get into it, so I'm not going to say
No,
anything.
I've already let it be known that I'm picking Bad News Barrett to win Money in the Bank.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to confirm that. I was like, didn't you pick Bad News Barrett? And
yeah,
and see, like
yeah, because I feel like they've been trying to give that to him for like 3 or 4 years now, and every time he gets injured, and now he's finally healthy for longer than like 3 months.
He's got to make it to June, though, dude. He's got to make it to June.
I know.
But yeah, some people are making that pick. I want to believe in the rumors that you and I have been reading that he's got this summer push coming, whatever it is. And I just feel like he's got more stock right now, even if he is in a pretty bad place, which I am not trying to deny at all. So I am picking Dean Ambrose to win the Chicago street fight. So,
well, I'm picking Luke Harper, sticking by the code.
I swear to God, if the code comes through, I am just going to facepalm so hard. Not even because you're right, because I've gotten so used to that, it doesn't even bother me anymore. It's just a matter that they really would. Dean Ambrose is in such a bad place, they go with Luke Harper over him. That, to me, is just big warning sign. But, yeah,
right,
Dean,
yeah. All right, well, you pick Dean to win his first pay-per-view match since the Shield breakup.
Don't you fail me, you magnificent bastard.
He's going to fail one of us, but I have a feeling it's not going to be the code.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next least relevant match, Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus in a Kiss Me Arse match. Just to be clear, this is literally a Kiss My Ass match during the PG era, so no clue how they're going to pull this off.
Here's the thing, right? I think you and I both, because I never like to speak for you, but this is one of the rare cases I'm going to. I think you and I both love heel Sheamus right now. We love the look, we love the aggression, and we love just how he's going about business. I mean, you even said when he came back and he bro-kicked both Bryan and Ziggler, it felt great to be interested in Sheamus again. Because face Sheamus, there was a complete disconnect between him and the audience. So I'm loving what he's doing. I'm loving this idea that he's taking issue with the quote-unquote smaller guys, and that Ziggler's kind of stepping up and being the representative, at least as far as Extreme Rules is concerned. Here's where it gets a bit complicated. A stipulation like this, yeah, it's hard, right? Because I knew this was one match I was going to have difficulty talking about with you when we got here. I don't think Sheamus is going to win this match.
No?
Yeah. See, now let me qualify this here because I understand I'm treading water. I believe Ziggler's going to win, but the heelish act is going to be Sheamus not honoring the agreement.
Yeah.
I feel like Ziggler's going to win. He's going to have his trousers pulled down, and then Sheamus is just going to assault Ziggler from behind. Beg pardon?
Low blow,
or assault him from behind, and then finish it with a bro kick. And by not honoring that stipulation, Chicago is just going to rain down on him with jeers. Because I just feel like this is a match that a babyface really isn't.
I don't know, dude. It is Chicago. It might be cheers.
Maybe, but I would feel like Dolph would be more beloved in Chicago. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, I just feel like this type of matchup isn't one where you can really have the babyface lose. The only way that a babyface should be put in this kind of situation, if it is an authority figure like Vince McMahon when he had his Kiss My Ass Club. Sheamus and Dolph, they're of equal authority, so I really don't see Sheamus coming away with the win here. I am picking Dolph to win this match, and Sheamus does not honor the stipulation. That's where he gets his heat back. Yeah. So that's my prediction.
Man. See, I would agree with you. Because right. I love that idea. But it's Sheamus. And it's Dolph Ziggler. And it just makes all the sense in the world that Sheamus would win this match. So I'm going to pick Sheamus.
All right. I mean, I really can't contend you either. It really is one of those more unique matchups because I think both positions.
I'm trying so hard not to outthink this, and that's why I went with Sheamus, because that is just such an obvious choice. I don't want to outthink it and be like, oh, no, it's the obvious choice, but because of that, the WWE knows it's the obvious choice, so they're not going to go that route. No, it's the WWE. They're going to go with the obvious choice.
You know what? I actually commend you for being so straightforward about it. I like that. So, yeah, great stuff, man. You're picking Sheamus. I'm picking.
And plus, it's Sheamus' first pay-per-view match since his return.
Yeah, and you know what? That is the only thing that's kind of making me, a little uneasy. But I think given.
And Sheamus is one of the few guys in WWE that actually wins as a heel.
I love that too, by the way. Just as an aside, I'm loving the booking of heel Sheamus
Well,
right now.
you don't need him to win any other matches. That beatdown on Zack Ryder was enough for you.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Like Sheamus and me are so tight now. He's a lock. Oh my god. So all right, man. No, I like that. I really like that. So unless you have anything else to say, we can move on to our next matchup.
All right, our next. Let's see here. Our next match, I believe, is going to have to be a championship match. So we can do. You know what? Let's talk about the Intercontinental Championship situation, because we still, like, apparently they straight up said on I believe Main Event or Superstars, one of the taped shows where they dub over commentary all of the time, that Bryan versus Barrett is happening.
Oh.
So I have no clue how to even take that, because I've been kind of in a state of acceptance over the last like 5 or 6 days, where it's like, yeah, Barrett's going to have to go against someone else for the vacant Intercontinental title, because Bryan's going to get stripped because he's not going to be able to defend it until like June, if that. So let's just for the sake of consistency, let's discuss both possibilities. First of all, if Bryan versus Barrett does happen, what do we think's going to happen?
If Bryan versus Barrett does happen, I'm going to be very straightforward, not overthink it. Bryan's retaining.
Yeah, that's completely. I'm right there with you, because if he's healthy enough to wrestle on this show, I highly doubt that they're going to take him off TV for any extended period of time.
Right.
And honestly, even if they do, maybe they'll just take him off TV long enough so that he can recover, miss Payback, and then defend the title afterwards. But if it doesn't happen, if Daniel Bryan's health is enough of an issue that they can't put him on this card, what do we think happens with Barrett, and what do we think happens with the Intercontinental Championship? Those are the two kind of loose ends that we would have at that point.
And see, this is where I defer to you, because I loved your solution to both problems. You told me, because you were watching SmackDown, I wasn't. I was kind of doing my own thing, but I think you were watching SmackDown. You saw Neville pin Barrett in a tag match, and you thought we were going to see, Neville versus Barrett at Extreme Rules for the Intercontinental Championship. I love that idea, and to me it makes all the sense in the world. When you think about who Neville's been competing with since he arrived on the main roster, it makes sense to put him in this spot.
And honestly, it would even make sense to give him the title.
Oh, yeah. And see, that's why I'll even go one step further, and I will say, if we get Neville versus Barrett, I am picking Neville to win the championship. Because
I mean, if you look at all the guys that were competing for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, it's kind of the working man's title now. Like, the Intercontinental Championship has basically become the FCW 15 Championship, because all the matches are going to be longer. They're all going to be very competitive, very sort of like high work rate, indie-style matches. And that's kind of what Bryan was the face of, but now that Neville's around, he's totally capable of pulling that off.
And not to be construed as a diss to Bryan or Bryan fans, Neville's healthy, and Neville, I think, is on top of his game right now.
And Neville is built like a brick shithouse, so he's probably not going to get hurt anytime soon either.
Dude, the freaking human Super Saiyan, Neville, you know? And here's the thing, too.
That's a paradox, or not a paradox, an oxymoron.
Yeah, I know,
because Super Saiyans aren't humans. Saiyan is a different species, I believe.
Well, I should say he's built like a Super Saiyan, like we used to say when he was on NXT. But regardless,
I was just being obnoxiously semantic, so let's just move on.
Yeah, please. With Barrett, you know, the thing is, you're picking him to win Money in the Bank this year.
I am.
I'm tentative about that. Like I said, I'm not even going to touch that discussion until we get to June. But I will say this. I feel like having him win the Intercontinental Championship for a 6th time isn't going to do him any favors that the other prior 5 championship reigns haven't done already. I feel like it's time for Barrett to move on and preferably move up to something else. So I just don't see him winning regardless of the situation. I feel like his time in the Intercontinental Championship picture has passed. And if Neville is going to take up that spot because Bryan can't compete, I think he would be a magnificent Intercontinental Champion, and he could get that championship back on track, on par with what Cena's doing with the U.S. Championship right now. So yeah, I actually kind of hope, honestly, the more we think about it, that Neville does take his spot. Again, nothing against Bryan. Neville's got such an upside right now. I would love to see us capitalize on it. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you basically took the words right out of my mouth, and honestly, kind of literally, because I kind of said that on Thursday when we watched. Well, I was watching SmackDown, obviously you weren't, but yeah, yeah, I think that if Bryan can't make it, I think they're going to do Neville Barrett, and I do think that if they do that, I do think it makes the most sense for them to give the title to Neville and have him, because he's been having matches every week anyway, so why not just have him defend the title in those matches, and then. That could even build to a Neville Cena feud because he could be like trying to outdo Cena with the weekly defenses and that kind of thing.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love it, man. So good.
All right. Well, up next, let's talk about. Let's see. We have the U.S. title match and the World title match, and we want to save those for last. So let's talk about the Divas Championship. Naomi over?
Yeah, absolutely.
Naomi over. I agree. In Chicago, it's pretty much the perfect setting for Naomi to go over here. If Nikki Bella wins, I think that it's a travesty, honestly.
I mean, look, let me just say first and foremost that you know that I'm really come into enjoying Naomi and her heel work when I say that this is my second most anticipated match on this card.
Oh, wow.
I am super excited for this match.
Oh, wow.
Big time. And it feels good to say that about a women's match that isn't on NXT. So, there's that. But yeah, I feel like it's Naomi's time. I even had a discussion on Puitoff about it, which honestly just kind of evolved into that because my initial thought wasn't even about Naomi. But I was telling somebody because he didn't think that Naomi was gonna win, or at least he was fearful of it because it's the Bellas, and Bellas seem to just be on top of the mountain right now. And I said, no, screw that. It's Naomi's time. Her heel turn is completely legitimate, which I know other people have been saying as well, and I love it. Her gripes are totally understandable, and I feel like she's been on that cusp for a long time. We talked about how she kind of screwed herself out of that WrestleMania moment because of her mishap and things like that, and it feels like she's finally recovered. She's got that snowballing momentum again. Let's ride the wave. Let's get that Divas Championship. And you know what? I'm personally really looking forward to her feud with Paige over the summer when she comes back from shooting her movie, and hopefully it will be over the Divas Championship. So yeah, Naomi to definitely beat Nikki here, and I completely agree with your sentiments. If Nikki goes over or anything of the like happens, it is a travesty because you need to capitalize on this now. So here's to hoping.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Since we both agree on that, that was relatively quick. Let's go ahead and move on. Next, yeah, I mean, we might as well go in what order it's probably going to be on the show. So let's talk about Cena Rusev next, Russian chain match.
It's funny, Ashton, because I have about the same amount of words for this match as I did Reigns Big Show. Cena's retaining here. I mean, to me, I can't conceive of any other outcome. Do I think it'll be a great match? Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I think Rusev and Cena have great chemistry, and I feel like the Russian chain stipulation is going to lead to some really nice, near finish kind of moments with touching all four corners. That said, I mean, between the U.S. Championship Invitationals and just the way this whole feud's been going, yeah, Rusev's not going to win here. Like I said, I don't even know when Cena's going to drop the U.S. Championship. I see him with that thing for the long haul. Like, I'm thinking long term. So if Rusev were to win, I would be legitimately shocked. So, just to keep it succinct, Cena to retain after a great bout. What do you think?
I agree, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really more you can say than that. I think the bigger question here is...
to me, I'm looking past Extreme Rules. I want to know who Cena's next actual feud is, because, I'm hoping that he maintains these weekly challenges, but you know what I would love, John? I would love it if at one point, even if it was right after Extreme Rules, like a couple of weeks afterwards, he had this weekly challenge and the same person answered every time, and that ended up being his pay-per-view opponent.
Yeah, that
one guy is just so friggin' hungry. He wants that U.S. title more than anything.
And you know what? You could have him come closer, or maybe just figure something new out each time he faces Cena, and he just cannot seem to just break the lock, so to speak.
Yes.
John Cena. Yeah, I'd love that kind of story, dude.
Yep.
I love it.
Absolutely.
But you know what though? Here's the thing, right? We're and I love how your mind works. I've said that so many episodes of so many things that we do together, whether it's Twit Up or even predictions, whatever. And I love that you and I, that Cena's such a guy that you can always think of things for him, whether it's you or any other fantasy booker that loves doing that kind of stuff. I'm more curious about Rusev what does this guy do after this? Because he's not going to be a contender again for the U.S. title. And personally, I wouldn't be very interested, and this is just me, I don't want to speak for anybody else, I wouldn't be very interested if he shifted his focus to the Intercontinental Championship. You know, it's kind of like you're trading apples for oranges at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe even less so because of Bryan's state. He hasn't been as active with the Intercontinental Championship as Cena's been with the U.S. title.
Yep.
But, you know, where does Rusev go from here? And see, that's why I'm kind of wondering, are him and Lana going to have problems? And maybe that's his next story.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I think it could be interesting if they sort of used Lana as a way to get somebody feuding with Rusev. Because
right.
maybe like Rusev starts treating her like crap and somebody comes to her defense.
And see, that's what I'm thinking might happen, Ashton.
And the first thing that comes to mind is Ryback.
That would be awesome. Yeah. I just feel like
you could talk about how I used to be a bully, but not anymore, and now I hate bullies, and that's what you are, Rusev, and I'm going to make you stop bullying, like that kind of thing.
It's simple and straightforward. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And
I think that would be interesting at the very least, if not amazing. If they.
Oh, yeah. I completely agree. I just feel like between the rumors of Lana being set for some kind of big push, not to mention, I mean, let's not forget at WrestleMania, Rusev really blamed Lana for, you know, his first loss and that same loss, losing the United States Championship when she hurt her ankle, and he just kind of left her there. And her tweets lately about, you know, women, you know, being strong and powerful and beautiful and all these things. It seems like she's getting ready for that face turn for something. Plus the crowd, like she's one of the most over things about Rusev's act, if not the most over thing.
Yeah.
So I could see her being kind of, you know, the object of his next feud. Like you said, maybe he's just berating her, treating her like crap, and somebody steps up to her defense. I really like that. It's very basic, straightforward. It'll be something. And whatever it is, I just hope it just keeps Rusev's momentum and his relevance strong, because I love him, dude. He's really come into his own. He's a great heel, and I just don't want to see him kind of be diminished or lowered on the card when this is all over. So,
yeah. I mean, I really. This match is basically a formality at this point. Like, I don't care about this match. I know Cena's going to win in my heart of hearts. I'm sure I'll be cheering for Rusev during the match just because I always get caught up in it. But at the end of the day, you and I both know Cena's retaining, and they're going to move forward with him doing these weekly challenges, which I love. But the real interest in this match isn't even in the match itself. It's what happens to both these guys after it's over.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, we both agree Cena wins. Let's go ahead and move on to our main event of the evening. Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, in a cage. Neither one of them can use their finishers.
And Kane is guardian of the gate.
Yeah.
All right, Ashton, you know what? I feel like I've been kind of, really long-winded with a lot of these matches. What do you think about this whole main event and everything? Because I know you weren't crazy about the RKO being banned kind of stipulation. I don't know if you've warmed up to it.
I think that the whole Kane being guardian of the gate thing is a really, really smart way to let Randy Orton lose this match without looking weak.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because I don't know about you. To me, all of this tension between Kane and Seth Rollins, I don't really think it's going to amount to anything in Extreme Rules. In fact, I do.
Oh, I do too. I do.
Oh, you do?
Maybe not at Extreme Rules. I think Kane is Seth Rollins' next challenger for the world title.
And you're probably right too. That's why I'm awing. Yeah. But I feel like he is going to help Seth ultimately retain the world title, because he's going to put the authority before his own pride.
Yeah.
That said, I don't know what people are looking for Seth Rollins as world champion, because I feel like some people are like, oh, this just seems a bit convoluted and over the top, and like, oh, can we just have Seth kind of beat Orton in a straightforward fashion because we know he's capable? I'm intrigued by this match because I'm intrigued more by what Randy Orton's going to do in response to not being able to use the RKO, much like our discussion that we had on Raw Twitter when I said, well, they did something similar before back in 2007 with Randy Orton and Shawn Michaels at the Survivor Series when Shawn Michaels couldn't use the Sweet Chin music. So I think that's going to lead to some very interesting moments. I do feel like, and let me say this too, I do feel like Orton's going to hit the RKO, because I suspect a ref spot at one point, and the referee won't be able to see it, and Orton used it. I would hope that they would use that as a moment for maybe Rollins to kick out to show that the RKO didn't even really matter.
No, I don't think they're going to go that far because if they do that, what was the point of the stipulation at all?
That's true. That you do make a fair point there. And since Orton's a babyface, I think it would make more sense, even though he is a different kind of babyface, admittedly, but he is a babyface, so I think it would make more sense for him to just adhere to the structure of the rules. Otherwise, why make a big deal about these guys winning their matches to get stips in the first place, to your point. So, yeah, I could see what you're saying there. I just feel like Rollins retains. It should be a fun matchup. I love their match at WrestleMania, especially that finish. I think a cage, leads to some creative possibilities. And I'm just happy to see Rollins as champion, man. I feel like I love how he's come into his own with that championship. Will Orton keep chasing it? Definitely. This isn't the end for him in the WWE World Heavyweight title and Seth Rollins. I feel like it goes at least one more pay-per-view. Do not be surprised if we see these guys doing it again at Payback. But yeah. Seth Rollins to retain for the moment.
Yeah. Seth Rollins to retain. And, man, I feel like this is one of our fastest recordings for preview predictions ever.
I know, right? Here I'm thinking like, oh, these discussions, this and that. We had some great discussions, don't get me wrong, but yeah, that went by fast.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, you and I agreed on most of this stuff. Just because of that, now everything that we predicted is going to be the opposite.
I know, we screwed ourselves over, dude. It's awful. Man. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this show. I think it's going to really deliver. Hopefully it has some nice fallout that could be swept up, at Payback. And we'll see what that happens, because it's getting close to summertime, man. You got that Money in the Bank, that SummerSlam. We're inching towards those pay-per-views, and that's where my excitement really comes out. But for the moment, Extreme Rules is a nice placeholder, seeing as how all that WrestleMania buzz has finally really come down. So we'll see how it pans out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, I guess we're done here, aren't we?
Yeah, I guess.
Only about a half hour, but jam-packed, very dense as far as content goes.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, we're going to close this out. We will see you tomorrow night for our Extreme Rules live reactions.
So stoked. Going to be a lot of fun, guys.